talking about why genetically modified foods should be labeled. We go to fast food, we go to restaurants, we buy food from the grocery, but we don't actually look into what we're eating. And if we do, we considered reading the nutrition facts and the ingredients, looking into it. And if you're like me, you assume that everything that you need to know is going to be on the package or labeled. This is not the case for genetically modified foods. So what's actually in your food? We need to start realizing what we're putting in our bodies. Food runs everything, and it is what keeps our bodies working the way that they are made to work. When we start putting things in our bodies that aren't natural, things arise like illness and disease. I believe that genetically modified foods should be labeled. Foods that are genetically modified contain GMOs, which are genetically modified organisms. Organisms that have had their DNA changed in a way that doesn't happen naturally. They mainly do this by changing their DNA. This can mean taking DNA from species or from the same species, from different species, or something made synthetically in a lab. Also mean adding to or taking away their natural DNA. It usually happens to crops and animal products and can trigger allergies and diseases. But if these triggered allergies and diseases, why would we not want them to be labeled? 64 countries around the world require genetically modified foods to be labeled, so why should we not be added to this list? Although an NBC News survey shows that 93% of Americans agree that these foods should be labeled, it is not required. I believe that if these foods were labeled, it would prevent people from purchasing them and it would prevent the spread of illness and disease. Which I'm sure this has an impact on why they aren't labeled, because why would a producer want to tell you, or why would a producer put this label on there or want to have a label on there, knowing that it would keep people from buying their product? But at the same time, these genetically modified foods are cheaper and you can make more. Producers would also want this because producers also wouldn't want this because they're in plants such as soybean, corn, cottonseed, canola, which are found in many common foods, as well as animal products like eggs and more. These products have had foreign genes found in their DNA. Other genes come from species such as bacteria and viruses. Now, I'm not saying that this means we're putting viruses and diseases into our food and we're like purposely eating them, but DNA from those viruses and diseases are being taken out and put into the food. In 1992, the Food and Drug Administration claimed they had no information showing that genetically modified foods were dramatically different from naturally grown foods. They were considered safe to eat and no safety studies were required. But since then, genes are being changed and this is causing allergies and promoting diseases. Although genetically modified foods are mainly affecting the consumers, it also affects just the environment in general. Genetically modified crops are also responsible for the emergence of superweeds and superbugs, which can only be killed with more toxic poisons. To me, this sounds like a giant cockroach is going to show up in my backyard one day, but no, that's not what that means. Superbug is a strain of bacteria that has become resistant to antibiotic drugs, meaning we will need a stronger medicine to cure illnesses and diseases caused by these genetically modified foods. Superweed is just a weed that is resistant to herbicides, meaning it will need a stronger weed killer and those fumes will be released into the atmosphere. Also, if we have a stronger weed killer, it's definitely going to kill things around that weed like grass and bushes or whatever else there is. Which is also detrimental to animals because weed killers already aren't very good for animals. So if we have an even stronger weed killer, it's definitely going to be killing off animals. In conclusion, GMOs do not benefit anyone but the producers because it can help them produce more of a product and for a cheaper price. But for consumers, it is harmful in many ways and to the environment. The reasons that these products should be labeled are because 64 countries around the world already require genetically modified products to be labeled. So why should we not be part of that? Also because genetically modified organisms cause allergies and promote diseases, and they're putting toxins in the atmosphere and they're harmful to other trees and plant life and animals. We need to start realizing what we're putting into our bodies. Food fuels everything, and it is what keeps our bodies working the way that they are meant to work. Start putting other things in our foods and into our bodies that aren't natural, things arise like illness and disease. I believe that genetically modified foods should be labeled. So the next time that you're in the grocery store, you need to ask yourself, what's in your food?